Right. I don't know if it picks it up.
Welcome.
Right, I'm gonna do the intro again just in case. Alright, welcome, fight fans,
Bit already.
to another. Oh, mate, it's 5 in the morning. Welcome to another UFC Fight Week. This week it's at UFC Orlando with UFC on Fox 28. Josh Emmett versus Jerry Stevens. It's a really good card. I've probably introduced it twice because I'm laughing on the YouTube, so I probably have said that. We're on our usual setup of Ronaldo in a little iPad. If I haven't mentioned it already, which I probably have, I apologise for last week because I didn't have him turn up loud enough, so you wouldn't have been able to hear him. Not that it matters because he talks a lot of shit anyway. I've probably said that twice.
You actually look awake.
Huh?
You actually look awake.
I actually look awake.
Yeah.
I can tell you now. I don't feel it. I want to get that camera slightly up a bit. Oh, there we go, that's better. Huh?
I like you promoting.
Yeah. Always promoting Jumble All Stars. New game coming out in the summer. Anyway, back to UFC. Make sure you talk a bit louder, Ronaldo, so that it picks you up, because I've got the mic next to you.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I can't have it any more closer to you than I've got it. We'll quickly go over last week's card before we progress, as usual. Last week was Donald Cerrone versus Yancy Medeiros at Austin, Texas. First fight, which was on your bet, I believe, Oscar Pichota knocking out Tim Williams round 1.
Yeah.
Pretty much went how you predicted or thought.
I would have said he would have knocked him out.
Yeah, I didn't. Again, where I am at the minute, I'm not going to be able to watch the early fights. I can only watch the main card.
Yeah, but to be fair, the guy he fought, I thought he was just moved like a stepping stone. The guy he fought has actually got a bit about him. He's on a 5-fight win streak, and a bit of power about him. They rocked each other, I think, or close.
Oh, okay. Then the next fight, which was another round 1. There's quite a few round 1s in that card, wasn't there? Josh Burtman and Alex Moreno. I said Burtman would lose because he just seems to be a journeyman for anyone.
Bro, it's the stats I read up last week that kind of fucked him up. Lost 7 fights in a row or something. Or lost, something like that. Or lost last 5 fights or something.
How hasn't he been cut? Anyway, obviously likes getting a kicking. Yeah, so we pretty much said that Burtman would probably lose last week. I got this one wrong. Sara Moroz versus Lucy Padilova. Even though I said that Padilova's okay, I think she tends to get hit too much, but she come away with a decision win on that.
Well, the other guy had good knockout rate, but she got dropped twice.
Oh, okay. And then you had Roberto Sanchez versus Joby Sanchez, the Sanchez derby, and it was a round 1 submission.
Did you see that fight? You didn't, did you? Oh yeah, you just said, don't worry.
Yeah. Who's the one that's got up early? Not Ronaldo. Huh? I said, who's the one that's got up early? Not Ronaldo.
No, but wait there. That fight, he just got on his back, and then that was it for the whole round, and then they just tapped him out at the end.
Well, yeah, Roberto Sanchez won by round 1 sub, yeah. I can't remember who we called on that. I think I might have gone with Roberto just because he had more experience in the cage.
I can't remember.
Then it was Jeff Neal.
He's good.
Versus Brian Camozzi, which we called that Camozzi would probably lose because he tends to lose quite a lot anyway, and he lost by a round 1 submission. Who did you say was good, Jeff Neal?
Yeah, he looked good. Powerful, he's good. He tapped him out by, like, he didn't really get his, like, legs round there. He just stood there and he held it so tight that mate just tapped outstanding.
Okay. I think this is probably a shock because you had Jared Gordon to win against Diego Ferreira, and it was a round 1 KO stroke TKO.
Fucking hell, he was alright at Ferreira as well. Because he had a long layup as well. He didn't fight for nearly 2 years, or he didn't fight for a year and a half or something. But yeah, he looked good. He wants to fight on in a couple of months or a month's time or something like that.
Okay. And then the main card started off with Stage Northcutt against Tibor Guti, who Northcutt won by decision, which, watching it, I didn't realise how many strikes he actually landed watching it. He was going for it, but it just didn't feel like he was getting the better of the other guy in it. And I thought at points he looked like he might have been caught a couple of times in being dropped, but obviously it looks like he's lost balance more than being dropped, because he obviously come away with a decision win, which was a start. What?
A lot of people agreed with the decision, said Northcutt should have won.
Oh,
Which,
okay.
now back he should have, but if this was like the old rules, the other mate would have won because of all the takedowns.
Yeah, and that was the start of Ronaldo's winning bet from last week.
No one.
Well, who was your first one? Oh, Chota.
He said last, and I'm the one who just woke up, eh?
Yeah, so that was the second one on his bet, sorry, because he had Chota and Northcutt. Peterson versus Brandon Davis. I'm back, yawning. Davis won by decision.
That was a war.
And then Thiago Alves lost by a round 2 knockout against Curtis Melinda.
Melinda's sick.
Yeah, Alves I thought was doing alright considering the reach thing. Before that knee come up, he was actually doing alright. And then out of nowhere, mate just brought up a knee and went, see you later.
I never even heard of the other guy. And I just thought, you're not going to lie, I just thought he was just a nobody, it's a great decision or whatever. Thiago Alves, obviously, he's not a fucking easy fight, he's decent and that.
Yeah.
But in there, fucking dropped him. I was like, fucking hell, this guy, he's sick. And he's sick.
Yeah. And that was a round 2 KO. James Vick got the victory in the decision over Francisco Trinaldo, who I thought done pretty well actually, considering again the height and reach disadvantage. He actually done alright, got in there and got him a couple of times in the face. But obviously Vic done enough to get the win.
They're thinking about setting him up with Cowboy back at lightweight.
Yeah, I did read that, yeah. And then the co-main... The co-main was Derek Lewis versus Marcin Tybura, who I said would win by decision, that Tybura. And then
Close.
He went and got knocked out in round 3. Or
yeah,
stopped.
to be fair, at one point in the first round I was thinking he's getting him out of there, but then he kept laying on. I was thinking, fucking hell, Fabs has nailed this, and I thought, yeah, he hasn't, it's about right. Lewis has won. Fabs don't know shit.
And then the main event, which was a wicked fight, even though it only lasted 1 round. Cowboy Cerrone versus Medeiros. A great fight. They both left it out there. Started slugging.
Cerrone could win.
Yeah. But was he your third? Oh, Vic was your third one. We need to get the victory.
Yeah, so I've won it. I'm back on the winning bets now.
First one of this year.
Yeah.
Right, well, you would have won a nice, what was it, 20 odd quid I think we had last week.
Mate, and Nando's top up again.
The old classic Nando's top up combination.
Basically, I'm keeping you alive. I'm feeding you every week.
Not every week, mate.
I will now.
Right, let's go to MMA news. So I'll pass it over to you, Ronaldo, and then I'll chuck in any bits that I've got.
Trying to take my show. Anyway, that Zabir is fighting that Carl Bozjanak.
Bochchiak, yeah.
Yeah,
Any confirmed date for it, or just...
At UFC 223.
Okay.
Same as a bit. No, Khabib and.
He's on the card with Khabib because same agent in it, or are they in the same stable?
Well, yeah, I thought they were pals and that, but that was a bit trains with Barboza.
Okay.
And Barboza just fought Khabib, so I was thinking maybe they ain't so close.
No, I think no, it might be same area or something, or Russia even.
Russia-y?
No, Russian even.
Oh, obviously Russia. Oh, so, yeah, you're talking shit. Definitely just woke up. Belfort beat Machida at UFC 224.
Yep, the Rio card, yeah.
The old men, fucking hell, retirement party.
Yeah, that ain't the main card though. That ain't like the main fight, is it?
No, they're talking about doing Nunes Pennant.
Oh, okay.
And then, Gastelum Souza, which has been announced today at UFC 224 again in Brazil. Obviously, I think they're both from Brazil, saying it.
Gastelum is Brazilian, but he's not really, because he moved straight away, I think they're not really keen on him. So is it Gastelum and...
Souza.
Renan Souza.
He's already knocked Belfort in Rio, hasn't he? So, will he get Souza?
So is that on the Rio card as well?
Yep, 224 both.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
And I'm trying to nick your spot. Right, McGregor apparently was offered to step in at UFC 22 versus Edgar. Or offered to step in.
Do you believe it?
No.
See, in a way I don't, because of something would have came out. Dana White would have said, "Oh, McGregor," or something like that.
Well,
and then McGregor said they didn't have enough time to promote it, but it's just unfair because they would have got a lot of money if they promoted it more, even if it is Edgar. But
the agent.
I'm not sure.
The agent that Abil Ginzervais, Ali Abzi AA, yeah, him. He
You spell it now, or saying it.
Bit of both, trying to help out the crowd. Yeah, they were saying that he reckons Edgar would have took it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think Edgar would have took it, to be honest.
But it's only an apparent, and Dana White said no because, yeah, like you just said, he couldn't get the time to. That's bollocks, absolute bollocks. TJ Dillashaw wants to fight at 22-26 with DJ Demetrius Johnson, which is the same card as the Miocic Cormier, which is what, Fight Week. Is that International Fight Week, that card? Yeah.
UFC 226.
Yeah, so again rumoured.
Yeah, but about that, the apparently contract's been sent to Cejudo or something. That Cejudo's getting a rematch.
Okay.
All of a sudden, last few days, apparently it's going to happen now. So I think it will happen, the Cejudo match. And I'll tell you what, I think I have Cejudo win it.
Okay.
Am I that boring?
Nah, it's just fucking early morning start, mate. Romero is apparently said on MMA Hour that he has definitely been offered the next fight at the belt against Whittaker, but Whittaker has currently got chickenpox from the staph infection, and with that, they're again saying it could be July if it happens, but Romero's been told 100% he's getting that next shot at the belt. Go on.
I think he is. I don't see who else you can really give it to.
Yeah, I think Weidman needs another win or two.
Yeah, definitely.
UFC are in possible talks of the Lewis versus Ngannou, but no confirmed date. Just
tell you what, if Lewis can get his stamina up of it, I'd have him to win that, you know.
Someone else said that. I watched a video and Bisbee was slating it, saying Lewis should be calling him out, and the other guy was like, nah, if he gets out early enough, he'll get him out.
Yeah, I think he would.
McGregor apparently has just broke another UFC record in that he's the only fighter he's held the longest UFC title reign without defending it, which he's overtook Anthony Pettis of 350 days. McGregor's now broken it with 464. and McGregor was quoted as saying before he fought Aldo, if you remember back to this, I will definitely defend my belt many, many times. When he was digging at Aldo on that World Tour press thing.
Yeah.
He come out and said, and I've seen the video, and he come out and I quote McGregor when he says, I will defend my belt many, many times. And that ginger Irish dick has yet to defend either belt. What a tosser. What a fucking what's it.
Yeah, what happens if he comes back, kills the winner of Khabib Ferguson, and gets out belt and does the same thing?
He will. He's the worst champion in history of UFC. If you're watching this and you agree with me, send me in a fucking comment or whatever.
I don't know, it's hard. Bisping's up there.
Bisping's just a tosser.
Bisping, I'd say the worst.
I wouldn't say he's even a half decent UFC fighter. He just seems to have jammed the right time at the right point at the right time when people were injured and this and that.
He shouldn't have beat Silva. He shouldn't have beat Henderson. So
yeah, both of them decisions were shocking.
But one win he did have that is big. Is Rockhold, which fair enough. Rockhold was treating him like a mug, which fair enough. He knocked him out.
Yeah. That's it for MMA news. Other than this card this week, there's been a cancelled fight between Gilbert Burns and Olivier. Go on.
I'm joking. Burns.
Wait there. You've just said I'll take it from here, and you've not even notified them what I was about to say.
I'm saying Burns. They do a new thing where when you turn up on fight.
Yeah, but wait there. They don't know who he's fighting. That's what I was introducing, and then I was going to go to you for the reason. And you went, I'll take it from here. Right. The last bit of news is that this week's fight... Oh, I can't believe I have to repeat myself. There's a cancelled fight between Gilbert Burns and Olivier Aubin Mercier. Ronaldo has the excuse.
Oh, yeah, alright. So there's this new thing, which I've said 3 times now. On Fight Week, they have to weigh themselves, and if they're not like under a certain weight or close enough to that limit where they've got to get to, then they're going to cancel it for the safety of the fighter. And he has to get to 155. He was weighing 186 or something like that.
Fucking hell. That's crazy.
So they said, yeah, he's cancelled. And he's getting a fight already. He's fighting,
That's why he does the news, people.
I thought I could remember it, but I can't. Oh yeah, Kemmerly and Barboza are going at Atlanta City Fight Night.
Okay.
I just remembered.
Great bit of news coming in late. You need to do the old... I need to get a breaking news thing now. Oh, breaking news. News just come in. An hour late. Let's get that up a bit so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, now, MMA news done. Dusted. On to more important things, which is this week's card at Orlando, Florida. Emmett and Stevens. Good card. There's some good fighters on there. Let's get straight.
Greatest fight night card I've ever seen.
Whoa, big statement from someone that knows fuck all. Right, I'll kick it off. Because I assume you haven't done any research for certain fights, as agreed.
Fuck off. He's saying this to make me look bad.
No, as agreed.
No, wait there. I said, right, I've done some research, you do some research now. Because 2 weeks ago he never did. So I've let him know last week and he done some, fair enough. I'll let him know this week, yesterday morning. Yesterday. And then he said, alright. So he's done so. He said, I've got a couple of fighters, but you take 2, I'll take 2.
Yeah,
and then now he's saying, I guess you haven't done some fights.
No, I'm just checking, because I don't want to go reading out shit and then you've got some other shit on it.
Go for it.
Right. First fight is Albert Morales versus Manny Bermudez. Now, researching this, I thought it was just going to be a box standard, your Burkman Kamosi sort of fight. But it turns out...
Burkman Kamosi, they didn't even fight.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, they're both shite. I know they didn't fight each other. I'm on about them as fighters, you dickhead. They'll understand me, because Christ. It turns out this Manny Bermudez is being touted by the guys in the UFC as a possible fighter to follow in the likes of Israel Adesanya. Is that how you say it? Adesanya, who fought he didn't fight last week, did he? It was the week before.
Yeah.
And obviously Sean O'Malley. So he's considered a hot prospect. He's only 23, and this is UFC debut this week. Out of the 11 wins, he's got 8 first-round submissions. So he could have a bit of a submission specialist on our hands here. It's all well and good coming in with that sort of impressive resume, but it's a different kettle of fish fighting in the UFC. So we don't know how good the opponents were that he was fighting and what organisations and stuff like that. I know he's a former Cage Titans and CFX champion already at 23. So that's pretty good. I'm loving the nickname. I don't know if you'll get this, Ronaldo, but...
wait there. The Manny Triangle.
No, the Bermudez Triangle, you dickhead.
Oh.
Because there's a thing called the Bermuda Triangle, and then they've called him the Bermudez Triangle.
Pretty shit nickname, I'm not gonna lie.
With better than Manny Triangle, you'd swear. Thank God you ain't dish.
You know the person he's fighting?
Come on.
He fought that crazy fight with his Team Alpha Male guy, I can't remember his name. And you said the first round was the best first round you've ever seen, and yeah, it was decent.
Okay. Well,
Lopez.
Oh, yeah. Benito Lopez, the golden boy one with the half haircut thing. Manny Bermudez is a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He likes to kick. His fighting style is a lot of kicks. And he tends to go, if he's going to lock you up, he tends to go for the arm lock. So it'll be interesting to see how this youngster does against... the guy he's fighting's had the same amount of fights, Albert Morales, who's lost 3 in his last 4, but he's lost against Thomas Almeida and that Brett Johns. So they're not 2 shit fighters really, are they? The third one was no one of note. The only one out of the 3 is that Benito Lopez to KO him. All the others were wins, decisions that he lost by. Before joining the UFC, he was undefeated 6-0 fighter, that Morales. So obviously it's been a bit of a big step up for him coming into the UFC, and he obviously hasn't quite took to it with how strong the other fighters are from there. But he's only 26, so obviously he's got time on his side. But it'll be an interesting matchup anyway. But if I was to pick, even though he's sort of an unknown entity, if they're touting him as a hot prospect, I'm willing to go with UFC on this and go with Bermudez for the win. I don't know if he'll get a round 1 submission, but I'll definitely be tempted to put him in as a winner. Thoughts, Ronaldo?
Yeah, I'll get you something in a minute. I'm just going to search something quick. I want to see if the person he's fighting, if he's ever lost by submission.
Who? Morales?
Actually, he hasn't, because you just said he's only been knocked out once. No, yeah. I'm still going with the guy you said.
What, Manny Bermudez?
I think it'll be round 2 sub.
Okay. Do you want to do one of yours, or do you want me to do the second one of mine and then you do your 2?
Whatever you want.
Well, we'll break it up. We'll go with the actual card order actually. So I'll do the next one. The next fight on the early fight prelim is Eric Shelton and Alex Perez. Eric Shelton's 11-4. Won his last fight in the UFC, outstriking his opponent by 12 strikes to 1, and that was beating Janelle Lauser. On looking at him, I think he's got good cardio, as all of his previous fights have gone all 3 rounds. he's got 2 losses in the UFC, but both of them have been by split decisions. So obviously he can go and have a brawl, and he can do the distance. I'd say his weaknesses are that he seems to gets too many takedowns against him, which, like you said earlier, in the old rules to a degree, they obviously go against you every time you get a takedown against you. So if he's to win these decision fights, maybe the deciding factor is that he needs to have a better takedown defense, which he did.
You just absolutely fucked yourself up there.
How have I?
Because you said, the takedowns, I bet they were more like, say more points.
Well, no, you get more recognition for takedowns.
Yeah, in the old rules, and you went, so this time, in these, you might have to stop the takedowns in these decisions, in this new rules or whatever. So, but it doesn't matter because it was the old rules, you twat.
No, I didn't say nothing about that. I said he had so many takedowns against him. It seems to be that that's what's costing him his fights in the decision. When they're coming down decision, they're obviously going with the people that have had more takedowns. Because I've looked at the stats on his fights.
I get what you said. I didn't hear it right.
You dickhead. And I'm saying that if he stops takedowns against him, he's got more of a chance.
Yeah.
I didn't say nothing about old and new rules. I just said that you mentioned about the old rules being that takedowns always went against you. But I'm just saying he needs to stop takedowns in general anyway. But in the last fight, he did improve that, and he got the win because he had less takedowns against him, and he outstruck his opponent 12-1. Fucking hell. Wanker. Alex Perez, who he's fighting, is 19-4. He's coming into this fight riding on a 2-fight win streak. Both submission finishes. Has 100% takedown defense. Not that he'll be worried anyway, because I don't think Shelton's going to be worried about taking him down anyway. Because obviously his problem is that he gets taken down too much. So outside the UFC, he was on a 4-fight win streak. So technically he's on a 6-fight win streak overall. Worth noting, he won both last fights by the Anaconda choke as well. Both submissions were both Anaconda chokes. So don't be surprised, obviously, if he goes for a third submission in a row against a Shelton, that Bazinga. What's that? The weigh-in?
Yeah.
Well, keep watching it and.
No, but I want to say something about that Perez.
Yeah, wait there. Let me just finish this bit quick. Well, I've lost the moment now, so. Well, no, I was going to say, Shelton, obviously, where he gets taken down in his previous fights, bar the last one, quite a lot, I could probably see Perez getting the choke in this fight, so I'd be leaning more towards Alex Perez. Go.
That Perez, he had to get 126 for his weight. He got 126.5, then he had to go and lose the extra half pound. And when he went back on the scales, he was 127.
So has he misweighed him?
Well, yeah, he must have. But yeah, it was half a pound. Then he went back to lose weight, and he came on the scale.
Are they still fighting it?
Well, I guess so. I ain't heard anything else. I guess so.
Well, you'll find out.
Get more money.
Well, if you're watching the weigh-ins now, you'll find out. Because he's the second fight, so just keep an eye on that and jump in as and when. Because it's you now anyway, for the next two fights. So.
Well, it's hard to see in the dark, but right. Is it Russell Donay?
It's Rani, Yahya, and Russell Dione. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Dione, he's had 7 knockouts, 5 submissions, and 3 decisions in his 15 victories. He's lost 4 of his last 5 fights. To be fair, he's fought like Bektic and some decent names now, but yeah, still shit. Rani, what is it?
Rani Yahya, I think.
Yeah, alright. He's won 5 of his last 7. He has 5 wins, 1 loss and 1 no contest in them 7. He's had 18 sub and 6 decisions, so he's never had a knockout.
Or never been knocked out, you mean? Or never knocked someone out?
No, he's never knocked someone out.
Okay.
But, so, from what I'm looking at, I'm going to say it's a sub. 18 submissions wins out of his 24. That's pretty decent.
Who's that? You think Rani, Yahya's going to sub?
Yahya, yeah.
Going to sub Dione. Dione's not a great fighter, even though he won his last fight. He's one of the Hawaii.
He's quite tough, though.
He's tough if you're a shit fighter. If you've got something about you, he's easy.
Alright, sorry, fucking black belt or whatever, I don't know. But didn't he get tapped out by Bektic in Manchester when we went?
Yeah.
Yeah, so his submission, his ground game, he's easy. Right, yeah, so I'm going to go submission there, round 1.
Ooh. Yeah, I'll go with that Yahya, just because. Other than that one time, I've seen him fight a few times, but the only time he ever won that I've seen him was when he was with all the Hawaiian boys when Holloway won last. They were all on the card, weren't they?
Yeah.
The next fight in the prelims is Sam Alvey versus Marcin Prachnio or something like that.
Yeah, that's Sam Alvey. Obviously, he gets around and he seems to fight like quite a lot for every regular.
This is this at middle or light heavy? Because
I honestly don't know.
I've got in front of me that Prachnio weighing in at light heavy and Alvey weighing in at middle. So I don't know if Alvey's gone up to fight in light heavy.
Perez is getting on the scale quick. Let me just.
Yeah.
Why don't you go on the UFC website and see what it says? It says 185. That's middleweight. 205.
No, I'm on the schedule thing and it's 185 and 205.
Oh, might be a catchweight.
Well, it'll be after this fight weigh-in, so find out in a second. Go on, hit me with Perez. What's he weighing in at?
Oh, he's just forfeiting 20%. He weighed 127.
Gutted.
But yeah, that's it. He's forfeiting. So the fight's still carrying on. He just leaving 20% of his purse. Anyway, Sam Alvey has had, in his 31 victories, he's had 18 TKOs, 3 subs, and 10 decisions. He's lost 2 of his last 3 fights.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Been mostly decisions though.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a bit of a decision fighter.
Yeah, the other guy, Prachnio or whatever.
Prachnio.
Too late for this shit, but he's won 8 fights in a row.
Yeah.
Well, 8 fight win streak, I should say. 10 TKOs, 1 sub, 1 decision, and then wins. It's 13 wins. Even though that only adds up to 12, so fuck knows. Fuck knows what happens there.
Yeah, go on.
All of his 11 finishes has been in the first round.
Alright, fucking hell. Because is it his debut, is it?
Oh, I don't know.
I had to give him a few fights. What weight? We'll find out the weight in a second before we move on. Who are they weighing in now?
Donne.
Oh, right. So they're the next fight then. So yeah, we'll just confirm in a second what they're fighting at. I think it's light heavyweight.
I bet you it's catchweight.
Well, I've got it written down on the YouTube thing as light heavyweight.
Normally I write down what their fights are, like what middleweight, bantamweight, all that. But every now and then the fighters go up and down, obviously. But this time I forgot. Because I'm busy at the moment.
Yeah.
Playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
Go get my level up.
7 I am.
10.
Right. Are they weighing in yet?
We might as well just go on to the next one. It's coming up now. A light heavyweight division.
Yeah, you go light heavyweight as I predicted. Right. The next fight of the prelims is Ben Saunders and Alan Jouban. Ben Saunders is currently on a bit of a yo-yo swing, with his last 4 being a win-loss.
It is his debut at Prachnio.
It is his debut, okay. He last lost was to Peter Sibota. the both wins he had in that yo-yo streak have been by decision, and both losses were by finishes. He's been outstruck in his last 3 fights, so he needs to push forward and start letting go a bit more. But obviously easier said than done, especially against Jouban, as Jouban's quite a good counter fighter, and he's a patient fighter, so he's going to have to obviously try and work out how he's going to beat him. But you know, he's got a 21-8 record with 2 no contests. Jouban is a 15-6 record. He comes in on a 2-fight losing streak, so they both lost their last fight regardless. His last win was against the fellow fighter on the fight card, which is Perry, that's on the main card. Both his losses were finishes, which were Gunnar Nelson in a round 2 submission and Nico Price with a round 1 KO stroke TKO. So both fights have been finished twice in recent times. So if it's his choice, I would say he'd probably want to keep the fight standing with his like karate style, with his kicks and counter punches. But like I say, he's a very patient fighter. I think this fight probably suits Jouban more than Saunders. Can you actually look at the camera so we can see your face a bit? Thoughts? Saunders, Jouban?
I think it's got Jouban decision written all over it.
Yeah?
Yeah,
he's quite a good counter fighter. Like, he looked... I think the Perry fight, I think it was more Perry's cock-ups that made Jouban look better than what he would. I think Perry, that was a big fight where Perry sort of still thought he could just run at people and knock them out. And I think that's been a bit of a learning curve for Perry. Otherwise, if he'd have fought back, he probably would have beat Jouban. The next fight is Maryna or Maryna Moroz, the Ukrainian bird, versus Angela Hill. That Moroz is 14th ranked in the strawweight division. She's 8-2. She lost her last fight to Carla Esparza. I remember watching it, but she never utilised her reach or her height advantage in that fight.
Yeah, but didn't she just get wrestled the whole?
Yeah, but she had the height and reach, and she didn't utilise it. Esparza just kept getting in under her and takedown, wasn't it? She was just like a little rat, just kept going in on her. She's 3-2 in the UFC with 2 decision wins and a round 1 submission win over Jojo Calderwood. Oh my god, it's pissing down at her.
You can hear it.
You could hear it, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's proper chucking it. I've got to go and bike out in that in about, I don't know, an hour. Hopefully it'll stop by then. In this fight, she is again over Angela Hill got the height and reach advantage. She needs to learn obviously from the Esparza fight and try and actually utilise them a bit better. Otherwise, I think she's looking at a loss against an Angela Hill who loves to come forward and throw. Has been outstruck in 80% of her UFC fights.
Okay.
So she needs to start throwing more and really going for it and stop.
You've actually done some alright research.
Yeah. When I get my noggin down, mate, I get in some good little things.
What?
Yeah, so...
That Angela Hill, what was her last fight? When did that Nina Asmarov?
Yeah, I think it was.
That was a fucking good fight. I'll tell you what, that was a fucking... I was going to say that's a fucking good fight, but I just said it. Oh, I don't know.
So good, you said it twice.
It was a fucking good fight.
3 times. Angela Hill...
They're just going at it. I'm going Angela Hill win that.
Yeah, well, let me read out about her, and then we'll go to you. Angela Hill 7-4, and although her record don't look great, and she's only had 2 wins in her UFC career, but to be fair, against the 2 wins she had are against nobodies, but the losses that she's had, right, in that division are absolute monsters. She's lost Tisha Torres, Namajunas, and Andrade, and 2 of those went to the decisions as well. out of them three.
Yeah, I heard it, yeah.
And so she needs to start obviously getting a bit of confidence and trying to pick up these wins. And like you said, it could be this fight that does it. I think she's a game fighter. Obviously, fighting and losing to them absolute monster names in that division, I think that'll stand her in good stead because
It's only a helper, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. Because she's fought. Obviously, sometimes like in any sport, when you're fighting or playing against shit, you almost go down to their level. When you're fighting the elite and playing against the elite, you almost up your game because you want to beat them. So hopefully, this will be a fight that she actually gets under her belt and wins. She's good at Muay Thai and won 3 championship belts in Muay Thai. Angela Hill. Always likes to pressure the fighter and force him into mistakes. I think she needs to get in and sort of get in close to that Moroz and like almost get in the pocket and do a bit of dirty boxing and clinching work. And I think that's probably where she can win the fight. And just because obviously her cardio is good enough to go all the rounds, so yeah, I fancy her to get the win on that one. Over to you for the next two, which first of Sara McMann and Marion Reneau.
Wait, let me try and see. McMann, she's an Olympic wrestler, silver medal, I believe. Could be all bullshit.
Nice. Come out your mouth, most likely.
She's won her last 2 fights. Well, she hasn't won the last 2, but the last 2 fights she has won have been by sub.
Yeah.
She's lost last fight by sub.
Okay.
I really don't think that's how to do that. She's had 5 submissions, 5 decisions, and 1 TKO.
Okay.
The other girl, I keep seeing the other girl. She is actually decent. She's won her last 3 fights, 2 wins.
Marion Reneau, yeah.
Yeah, she's last 3 fights, 2 wins, 1 draw, 5 TKOs, 2 subs, 1 decision. I'm going that Marion. I just think she's got a bit about her. She's.
They're both. Are they both ranked? I think they're both ranked fighters in this. I think it's 7 and 8.
Perry's on now.
It's 7 and 8. Yeah, go on in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure McMahon's 7 and Reneau's 8. But it's on our YouTube thing in the description below anyway. So who are you going with, Reneau?
Yeah, I just think she's got a bit more stats. I think McMahon's mostly a ground game from her stats. Oh!
What?
Perry. They're doing a standoff. They're staring each other's eye. Perry goes to pull his pants down and then he panics. Oh, everyone shit themselves.
So Perry, you fucking wanker. But I love it. Right.
Yeah, the other girl, I think she'll use
McMahon.
She'll keep it standing and yeah.
What are you saying?
Even
Decision.
McMahon, now she's at Alpha now, obviously she's training better people and that. And she was saying Faber when she was training, Faber kept going fast, like kept telling her to go like keep pushing kind of thing, like get better and that. And she was saying she hated him through that training camp, but she he helps her. So.
Okay, are you saying what Reneau decision, like most lady fights? Okay. The last prelim fight is Renan Barao versus Brian Kelleher. Take it away.
Barao, wait there. Brian Kelleher's pretty new to it. I think he's had a big win over that Sara. And I don't know if it's by sub or not. I can't remember. I'm thinking it was by sub. But yeah, and then ever since that, he's done a few quick wins and now he's got a name. He's won 7 fights with a knockout, 8 submissions, 3 decisions. He's pretty rounded. He's won 8 of his last 9 fights. Won last 4 fights by finish.
Who? Barao or Kelleher?
Kelleher.
Okay.
Barao, he's lost 3 of his last 4 fights. He's had 8 knockouts, 15 subs, and 11 decisions. But he does usually. He used to struggle with this weight cut, but they said this time he's got a new training camp where he does something different now. and he actually he looked good at the weigh-ins. He didn't look drawn in or anything. He looked healthy. So I'm gonna go Barao win decision. I just think he's got more experience. I think it's about time he got a win, and I think he's probably been training right in that now. So yeah, I'm going Barao.
Yeah, I think I'll. Even though I know Kelleher shocked a couple of fighters before, yeah, it probably will be a Barao win. Right, we've obviously done research on all these next 4 fights, or 4 fights. First of the main is Mike Perry, Max Griffin. I'll read out my ones, and then obviously you can jump in. Perry's 11-2. He had an 8-3 amateur record, just for good measure. He's got 7 first-round KO wins. Still got a 100% KO record as well. Coming in off a loss to Santiago Ponzinibbio, who poked his way to victory.
He was there for the taking, wasn't he?
Yeah, he pretty much poked his way to victory, didn't he? I poked his way to victory. Because you could see Perry was like, his eye went well red, and he'd even called him out on it, didn't he? And said about he was known for doing it because he'd done it against, is it Nelson and a couple of others?
Yeah, Nelson reckons that's why he got knocked out. He got eye poked then.
Couldn't see.
Then he couldn't see, and it fucked his vision up and that.
Never been knocked out or finished in his 2 losses. They were both decision losses, as we said earlier, to Jouban and now obviously Ponzinibbio. I think he's an absolute beast and one of our favourite fighters I need to watch. Entertaining.
Oh, yeah, he's just every fight. He's a proper fighter. He don't give a fuck, and he can fight. That's the thing.
Yeah. And I back it up. Yeah, he's entertaining to watch. So if you're new to this, definitely watch him. He's like he just said on the weigh-in. He's literally done the stare down and tried to whip mate's shorts down. Who does that? Mike Perry. Platinum Perry.
He's what you want as a fighter, really.
But he's entertaining.
He does the track talk. He does everything.
Yeah, but he's entertaining in and out of the octagon. Because even that story, if you look on YouTube for the Darren Till story, when he was a guest fighter in Gangst, Poland, wasn't it? And he was saying about you see him. You got to listen to it. It's not worth us going through. You've got to go and find it and listen to it because it's funny. What was it on the MMA Hour or something else?
Yeah, MMA Hour, yeah. But they done a little cartoon of it as well.
Have they?
Yeah.
I have to search that up. He's got vicious power. Only from what we've seen, his probably only weakness is when he gets taken to ground. He's not much of a ground game, is he? Because he obviously likes to bang.
Yeah. I think he's improved his ground game because he's been training with Ronaldo Souza and that.
Well, I know he's a purple belt in BJJ anyway.
Yeah, so I think he's got ground game. It's just
he doesn't like to be down there. Yeah.
He's just there to knock the fuck up your head, ain't he? He's a fuck it.
Well, the thing is, you've got even if it is his weakness, you still got to get him down, and get him on the floor, which ain't going to be easy because obviously he's a puncher. He's got quick combos. Loves to sit in the pocket. He loves a bit of dirty boxing. Loves to throw the elbows. Yeah, and even I found a saying that he'd been quoted as said when they asked what is sort of can't think of the word.
Fighting style.
Yeah, but no, it's qualifications. What are your sort of qualifications in martial arts? What makes you that you can fight? And he said, I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, but I'm a black belt with these hands.
The thing is, I reckon he gives any welterweight in the world trouble standing. There's not one welterweight that I think he does in one stand-up.
What, just because on sheer power?
Just power, just that fear. He's fearless, isn't he? That's dangerous. If you're
in that
fearless.
Case, yeah,
some people going against Woodley and think, right, watch the power. He'd walk in and might catch Woodley because, yeah.
Almost like what Woodley done to Lawler.
Yeah.
Have you got anything to add to the Perry?
Not really. He's just a gangster, isn't he?
What, he's a G?
He's gonna knock him out tomorrow. He's not on the same level as Max. He's different level to Max Griffin.
Well, Max Griffin is 13-4. He's coming into this fight for loss as well against that Elise Dos Santos, who's on the London card. It was a unanimous decision against him. Other recent losses were to Kobe Covington via round 3 KO stroke TKO. Has 6 first round finishes, 5 wins in less than a minute, and 7 wins by KO and 2 by submission. But, like you said, I think Perry's going to be too much for him. I think he's the biggest favourite on the card as well to win.
Yeah, that Max Griffin, he's finished his last 5 wins he's had. He's finished them all, 4 knockouts, 1 submission, and then Perry's obviously had 11 wins and 11 knockouts. So every time, it seems like it's got to be a fucking finish in this fight.
Well, yeah. Would you give Perry a round 1 finish, or you just?
I wouldn't be surprised.
So what? Just you're more confident it'll be a definite knockout than trying to predict a round.
I think it's a knockout, but I would say first 2 rounds. But if I had to push for it, I'd probably go maybe late first.
Okay. The next fight on the main card is...
What are you saying? Mike Perry?
Perry knockout all day. Perry knockout all day. Even though I said down the Ponzinibbio fight and put it on my bet, it never come in. But maybe the eye poke affected me as well. It affected my vision when I was betting. Because Ponzinibbio's fingers are that long. Owen St. Prue's the next fight against Eli Latifi. OSP's ranked 5 in the light heavyweight. Eli Latifi's ranked 8. I'll start with OSP. He's 22-10. He's OSP is on a 3-win streak, I think. Yeah, it is. His last loss was Ozdemir, which was a split decision, I think.
Yeah, but that Ozdemir, as we see against Cormier, he's a fucking tough bastard.
Yeah. So OSP lost only... I don't know how to word this. I'll let you go, Ronaldo. I've got to work it out.
Alright. I've got... Listen, see, all on fights I wrote, I circled the name who I think will win. And this is one of the fights that I didn't circle because I don't know who.
Too close to call.
I think OSP, it seems like when he went on a bit of a losing streak after Jones. He lost to him, Manbar. And he just, when he's fighting now, I'd thought most of the light heavyweights beat him because he just looked shit. But then when he seems like he's got a ball roll, then he's a bit of, seems like he's himself again. He's a tough fucking cunt.
His natural build, because we've obviously met him, he is a big fucker. He's quite a big guy.
You know.
Yeah, naturally, he's obviously quite a big guy, hence why he fights a light heavyweight. But he's got that athletic build, and he's obviously got natural strength. But like I say, sometimes he's just... It's when he gets in that top 5, any of them top 5 fighters, he can't push on. He just, I don't know if he freezes or...
Yeah, but they are tough. You got to think Manuel, Gustafsson, Cormier, Ozdemir, they're all tough cunts, man.
Well, that's what I was trying to word, because basically he's lost to both Bader, who's now of Bellator. He's lost to Masasi. And then he's lost to Manuel Jones, which was for the belt, Glover Teixeira, and Ozdemir. Now, like you say, in a normal world, they're going to be... You're only missing Cormier and Gustafsson, and that's a fucking tough top 8.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's fought them all. But it's Cormier and Gustafsson, the only 2 he hasn't fought. He has fought some of the top fighters in that division. That's the thing. And he can, he's got to look at the Ozdemir fight was a split decision. And it was from that fight that he's gone on and had this... he's obviously took the positives from it, and he's gone on to have this 3-win streak now. And obviously the most recent victory was over Corey Anderson with a round 1 knockout.
And Anderson's winning that. Anderson looked good, and then he somehow pulled that head kick out of the bag.
Oh mate, wasn't it? Just like bing. So he's obviously. Go on.
It's like if the Premier League, like the top 4 of Champions League, he seems like he can't get there. He's always like Europa League, and
What, Arsenal?
No, I'm on about.
No, he's like Arsenal.
Yeah, I was saying it's like he can't really break in Champions League, can he? Really, it's just.
Yeah, it's like because I think his best run was like 5 wins or 6 wins in a row, which was going back quite a bit. But this is his. If he wins this weekend, it's his best run in recent years. And the thing is, this is his best run ever of finishes. He's never had this many finishes in a row. He's had 3 finishes, 2 chokes, and a KO.
Yeah.
And both of them chokes with the Dom Flute choke or something. So I think his confidence is high. He's definitely training with someone else because I see on the road to Octagon that he's with different people. I think he's going to go in with confidence. Go on.
He's easily like, I think you could win rounds against him, but you got to watch for that power because he can end the fight with one bang.
Yeah.
And then his ground game, obviously, he ain't fucking a mug. He can tap you out. So I think you've just got to try and keep standing, just like kind of outboxing kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but moving on to Ilir Latifi, his last win was the dispatching of a very good fighter in Pedro. He obviously beat that Pedro who won the other week in the Hunt card.
Yeah.
And that was by a decision.
I'm still calling you out. You said he was shit.
Who, Pedro?
Yeah.
Really?
After that fight, you said he was shit.
Yeah, I think I did say he was shit because I expected big things from him. I can't even see what it says. Prior to that, he was KO'd by Bader, now with Bellator, like we just said. Again, he's another one that seems to lose to the very top once he gets there because he's lost to that Jan Blachowicz and Bader and Masasi. But the Masasi was on a short notice debut, to be fair.
Yeah, but he trains with Manuel and Gustafsson, doesn't he?
Yeah, because he's Swedish. What's my laptop saying? 9 minutes. Holy smokes.
It's 4 of his last 5 fights. I don't know what I've written. I've written 4 or 5 TKO in round 1. So I think it's his last 5 fights. Maybe 4 of them have came in TKO in round 1.
Okay.
He's had 5 knockouts, 4 submissions, and 4 decisions. Does that add up to? Yeah, it does. Yeah. So he is a bit rounded. It seems like obviously he can get a finish. 9 finishes out of his 13 wins. Ain't too bad.
Yeah.
Same with Crudo. He's only had 5 decisions out of his 22, so he's finished 17 of his 22 fights. So yeah, I thought it was I've got a decision all over this, but it could easily be a finish with them two.
I'm the same as you in I've not got a definitive answer on this, but because I've seen how obviously he's nicknamed the Sledgehammer, isn't he? After beating Pedro, he's going to go in with confidence himself because like Pedro's looked good in his last fight with that Kimura. He's a heavy hitter, strong, powerful. They don't call him the Sledgehammer for nothing. His weakness is that he has been KO'd a couple of times, I think. So I think I'm going to lean towards ASP because he's fought a better calibre of fighter more times.
See, when I was thought about this fight, I didn't want to in my head I was leaning towards that Latifi. Then when I came down, you were talking about it. Now I was going to say proof because of the ground game and that. But now I think it's a decision Latifi.
If I was to be pushed, which people will be pushing me for on here, I would say a choke. Because I don't think he'll want to stand and trade as much as I think he'll try and get him out with a choke.
Right, I'll prove you wrong. I'm just going to call it right now. Latifi decision.
Okay.
I'm going to call it right now.
Okay, I'll say OSP choke. If not decision.
Are we moving on to the next fight?
Yeah.
The fucking night. What? I can't get over this fight.
Andrade Torres.
This is just two little fucking
bombs.
juggernauts.
We got the number 2 ranked in strawweight, women's strawweight, Jessica Andrade versus the number 5, Tecia Torres. Crack on then. If you're looking forward to it, I'll let you begin.
I've not really written.
I've got loads.
But I'm just gonna wind it. Is it wind it or wing it?
Wing it, you dickhead. I'm gonna wind
Wing
it.
it.
We're gonna burp it like a baby. Gonna get the wind out. Fuck, you know.
I'm gonna wing it. Andrade, from what I've seen, she's easily outboxed if you can use your reach now, but they're the same height, I think. They're both just power heads. They fight less similar, really. I think this is definitely going to stay standing. I can't speak, it's just going to be a war. Decision, Torres, but could easily be a knockout.
Do you know Torres is the underdog?
Wow.
But that's based on ranking, I think.
Torres is in what's her record, quick?
10-1 I've got.
Yeah, on the UFC they fucked up the records because I wrote 11-3, but it's actually 10-3.
Who, Torres?
Yeah.
I got 10-1.
Yeah, and I had 11-1 from UFC, but it's actually, oh no, it is 11-3. It's not 10-1. No, that's the UFC one they wrote. It's 11-3. She's yeah, but how if there's only 9 decisions and 1 sub? The records are fucked. Because I've written down only 1 sub and 9 decisions. So that's only 10 fights. So maybe.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go.
Anyway,
Look, they don't want to hit.
Well, it's 7-3, but she's done 1 submission, 9 decisions. So she's only finished 1 of her fights.
Oh, okay.
Andrade has finished 12 of her 17 wins. She's won 5 by decision, 5 knockouts, 7 submissions. So.
Right, I'm coming in with some stats. So I'm coming in with some bits and pieces now. Right, I'm going to start with Tecia Torres. All her fights have been decisions, including a loss to Rose Namajunas. Bar 1, a second round sub of Juliana Lima is the only finish that you're talking of. Looked impressive against Waterson in her last fight, to be fair. Waterson's decent, I think, anyway.
You know, she's good, but she just.
Obviously, she's had other impressive wins and obviously worked her way up the ranking.
Rose as well. They're waiting for the trilogy. Whoever wins this is getting the next belt shot, I reckon.
Okay. Right, she obviously trains with her girlfriend, fiance Pennington, who's obviously a UFC Bantamweight contender, right?
Who's fighting for the belt, pretty much.
Right. Pennington's her trainer and is one of only 4 active fighters to have beat Jessica Andrade.
I knew that. I just forgot.
So she has some good inside knowledge, obviously even through the training camp, through Pennington. She fights a lot of bantamweights, Torres, in her training as well, in the gym that she fights with Pennington. They're more bantamweights than strawweights, so she's forever fighting.
And bantamweight anyway, didn't she? So.
Exactly, that's my point. So the size is going to be an irrelevance to this, in the fact that Andrade used to be bantam and comes down. I think that's going to be irrelevant. The fact that she trains with Pennington, who's one of 4 that have beat her. So I don't think the size will matter in this fight. We know she's got good endurance because she trains in Colorado, which is 6,000 metres above sea level. So she's forever in altitude. So she'll have a lot more.
Trains sometimes.
Yeah, and she'll have a lot more white blood cells, which help you fucking with your endurance. We know she's got great footwork, great power in her punches. Even though she hasn't finished people, she obviously does a lot of good damage to the body. The up-down combos. Yeah, the up-down combos. She has karate and Muay Thai background. Loves to ground and pound, coming from herself saying that. And she loves throwing combinations. The only thing I'd worry about is her jiu-jitsu stronger than Andrade's if it went to ground?
Yeah, I just don't think it matters. I think this might sound a bit thingy, but Brazilians, when I think of Brazilians, they always seem like they have a bit of a base around jiu-jitsu.
A basic jiu-jitsu knowledge, yeah. So
I was probably lean towards Andrade having a better ground game from small submissions and.
Okay, well, you saying that.
Andrade has only lost 1 fight in strawweight as to Joanna, the former champion.
Yeah, well, her last fight was a fight of the night win against Kelleher. who we know has got good ground game, and that was via unanimous decision.
I couldn't believe it. Goodell's the best in that division, and she just couldn't show it.
Nah, because she's like a little tank, that Andrade.
Yeah, but she, from Joanna to looking like shit, to fucking Goodell looking like fucking The Rock.
Yeah, well, the only loss, like you say, in strawweight is to Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Her other loss in more recent times, her last loss before the Jędrzejczyk fight was against who?
What?
Who was Andrade's last loss before Joanna Jędrzejczyk?
I'm going to say Pennington.
It was in the bantamweight. It was against Tisha Torres' Raquel Pennington, yeah.
I'll tell you what though, if Andrade went against Joanna, I'd fancy an arena. I think she would know now, just to land one and then her chin.
I'd say her pluses, Andrade, are she is quick. She loves to walk you down, as we saw against Joanna. Just kept walking into it. Never stops punching. Strong as an ox because she picked her up and threw her down a few times. As we saw against Joanna. I'd say her biggest flaw is that she cuts quite easy and takes a lot of hits while she's trying to get hits off. But really interesting fight. And is it whoever wins, like you said, do they get the shot at the belt?
Well, Torres wants that trilogy, don't she? She beat her once, so she believes she can be the champ.
But the question is, do they get the shot? Whoever wins, do they get the shot?
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm the matchmaker. I know what I'm doing. Yeah.
So who are you picking for that fight? Torres and Andrade?
It's one of them. As you lot says, pick it, which I fucking hate. But
it's funny because I thought you was going to go the other way, and you've gone the same as me. I think Torres decision.
I think Torres, yeah. I just can't see. When I think about it, I kept trying to push myself to Andrade because she's obviously, I don't know, she's not got a bit more about her. It's just she's more known. She's more of a name kind of thing. But Torres she's a fucking killer. And I've noticed the divisions with a lot of names that are like Goodell, Andrade, Joanna, the Pros, fucking all the big names. There's always the one who comes through is the one you don't look at.
Yeah, like the dark,
Rockhold, Reneau, all them. He's come through out of nowhere, won that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go.
Torres.
Yeah, Torres. I think she's gonna be the champ.
Well, great co-main anyway for a fight night.
It's the best fight on the card.
Right, going into the main event and last fight, Josh Emmett versus Stevens. Josh Emmett is a 4th rank versus the Stevens, who is 7th rank in the featherweight division. I'm going to start picking up the pace a bit because I've got to be gone in the next 10 minutes or so. Stevens, 26 and 14. 26, 36 and 14, or 26 and 14. I can't remember my own writing. Legend.
27 and 14, dickhead.
Yeah, because I was thinking, that's what I thought. I've got 26 and 14, 27 career wins. How's that work? 8 UFC bonuses. 18 of the wins have been by knockout. Never been KO'd. Oh no, been KO'd once. And had 3 sub-losses. Fresh off a devastating finish of Do Hoo Choi. Stevens is looking to climb into the top 5, I think. You saw the Choi fight, and you said he looked good.
Oh yeah, he really impressed me. Yeah, they both look good, but he obviously just
had that bit of an edge. Last time he lost was by KO was in 2012.
Oh yeah, them leg kicks against Melendez as well, killer.
Tends to only lose. If he does lose, tends to be by decision of late. Does Emmett have the gas tank to stay with Stevens?
That's what I mean. What I've got is, I'm not sure if Emmett's ever been to
He has.
What, after a full 5
Not
rounds?
in UFC, but another organisation. He's gone 5 rounds. They've both gone 5 rounds once.
See, I just think, I don't know how tough Emmett is. Obviously, he's pretty new, isn't he, really?
Yeah.
In his last fight, no one really knows.
I think he's 5 fights in UFC.
Yeah, but he weren't
4 and 1. He's 4 and 1 in the UFC.
But he's just made the jump quick because of obviously Atlanta's KO was fucking crazy. I just think.
Go on.
Do you know what I see a decision?
I thought it was going to be a knockout, and then the more I researched, the more I've learnt towards the decision.
I think Stevens' decision. He's going to use some leg kicks to slow him down. He's going to they'll probably drop each other. Emmett will probably get dropped, and then he'll win by.
Well,
talking to Stevens, the first time I heard of Stevens was when McGregor said, "Who the fuck's that guy?" That was the first time I'd heard of him.
Yeah, and now you do see the response.
Yeah.
Got a picture of his McGregor's mum and said, "Your mum knows who I am."
Yeah. Yeah, Stevens is hard hitting. He's quite a clever fighter. After you mentioned when he picked Gilbert Melendez apart with kicks, so he doesn't always go charging in. He does think about his tactics quite a lot. So that's going to hold him in good stead. I'm going to move over to Emmett quick, and then I'll let you jump in. He's 4-1 in the UFC and 13-1 in total. Only loss was to Desmond Green.
Split decision.
First fighter to get. Do you know he's the first fighter to get 4 knockdowns in 1 round?
Wow.
Just like Stevens, Emmett comes into this from a brutal knockout of Ricardo Lamas, which was his last fight.
That was a beauty.
Trains with the likes of Sage Northcutt and Chad Mendes as a member of TAM.
How can you say TAM and not mention Garbrandt?
Because he's not on the radar at the minute, because he's been laying low, isn't he?
He's going to be the greatest.
All other wins were by decision. Never been KO'd, Emmett. This could well be a 5-round brawl. Does he either have a ground game? Not that I think it will go there. At all. I don't think it will go to ground once. Unless someone's been dropped. That's the only time someone will be on the ground.
Yeah, I agree with you then for once.
Is the winner in line for the belt shot after Whittaker Romero? Not Whittaker Romero. What am I on about? Holloway. It's featherweight.
No, I don't think he is.
I think there's too many lined up in there with Ortega, Edgar.
Yeah, I think the winner of... Well, to be fair, the Holloway pulling out does help, because then there'll be one less...
Bit more movement.
Will be dropped out then.
Bit more movement.
So I think Ortega will get it, or whoever wins out of Edgar Ortega. Then I think... Yeah, I think it could be after, depending. I think they would have to both take another fight though, whoever wins.
Okay. Right, on that note, let's move to the betting.
Wait, one thing quick.
Go on.
The news. Just come in breaking news. That Asdasana, Azrael Adesanya.
Yeah, the Azrael.
He's fighting Marvin Vettori at UFC on Fox 29 in Arizona.
Okay, that we're breaking news for you. On to bets. Right, we'll go with my fourfold to begin with. And that is Mike Perry knockout. So you can't see it, I'm going to have to read it out for you, Renato. Right, I've got fourfold. Mike Perry knockout. Oven St. Peru submission. Tisha Torres decision. And Jeremy Stevens decision. Now, the winnings are not correct because when I'd done it, they hadn't actually updated the betting site. So I'm going to have a quick check now and give you the nearest I can get you for the winnings. And while I do that, I'm going to go over to Ronaldo's bet now. And he's got his hat-trick bet after last week's win is Renan Barao to win, Mike Perry to win, and Jeremy Stevens to win. A tenner gets you 32.26, the classic Nando's top-up combination.
Right, I'm loving it. I got you one last week, I'll get you one again. Maybe a Burger King or KFC, whatever you fancy.
Well, they're half the fucking price for Nando's, aren't they?
Both.
Why is the internet not working? Well, it is working, but it's not on my phone. Right.
Oh, Mike Perry said he wants a piece of Donald Cerrone after Max Griffin fight. But Foster Nevo's called out Cerrone after that fight as well.
Okay, well, while I get to work, right, it's going again now. Right. So yeah, obviously, hopefully, if you're watching the card, enjoy it. Get on the Perry fight. That'll be definitely worth a watch. Who's fighting next week? UFC 222, isn't it? Cyborg, Knutskaya, or whatever. Oh, Holloway's on that one as well, is he? Holloway ain't on it.
No, I said Edgar Ortega.
You didn't. You said Holloway, you twat. It's recorded, so I'll look back and double check that I'm right. Yeah, they've not updated it. Right, I'll give you the minimum you're going to get for my bet, which is 121.50. But if you do the actual KO submission decision, I tell you now, it'll be up to 300 quid quite easily. Next week's UFC 222 Cyborg Kunitskara or something like that, and Edgar Ortega co-main.
Yeah.
For the belt. No, not for the belt. Interim belt. Interim belt must be. Must be interim belt. He's not even looking at me.
No, it's not interim belt, you dickhead. He's not. Well, he's injured, but he'll be back soon.
Okay. Please, obviously, like the video, comment, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, all that malarkey. And hopefully we'll be back next week with UFC 222. Cheers for tuning in. Ronaldo?
Peace out.
Peace out. Nice.
I'm going to play fucking Fortnite.
Motherfuckers.
You're
He's
up
there.
fucking half asleep, man.
He can see you.
She looks like she's sleeping.
No, she's sorting herself out to go to work. Right, cheers for tuning in. Night, have a good fight night tomorrow night. We'll see you soon. Later, Renos.